If the rumour is true that Neca is going to stop making Predator figures, then they've definitely outdone themselves if this is their swan song. A really well-sculpted painted figure from the film Prey of 2022, which I thought was excellent. It comes with a vast array of accessories and, most importantly, swappable mandibles. I'm amazed it's available for basically coffee money. I won't provide an expansive review here, as there are so many already out there, so instead I'll focus on what matters to me. How well does it photograph, and how realistic can it look? And you can see from the images here that it does look pretty good and realistic in the right light. As always, because I like to make these figures look real and cinematic, I've removed obvious joints in post. The lighting and smoke is all practical, and for some shots I reused the mock setup that I used for my previous project with the Alpha Predator and Dutch figures. Otherwise, I just had some rocks in the background. The articulation is excellent, and I composed the figure in a number of ways, although there wasn't a lot of variety in his poses in the film, partly because he spent half of the movie cloaked. But I do appreciate the double joints at the elbows and knees, and the bicep swivel too. The sheen on the body gives it a good wet look, something Neca does very well on their Predator figures, and contributes greatly to their realism when photographed. It's definitely one reason why it would be a shame if they gave up the license to anyone else. We've had a Predator figure from Mezco, and while that has great accessories and swappable mandibles too, the finish on the body is very matte and dry and not convincing to me at all. The Mezco figure also only has single joints at the elbows, which limits its posability. I should probably mention that there will also soon be a Hot Toys 1/6 scale version of the Feral Predator available, and while this looks very detailed and beautifully painted and sculpted, the open mandibles on it don't open out as much as the ones on the smaller Neca version. You might think, so what? But having the mandibles open so wide on the Neca figure makes the figure much more expressive and dramatic, in my view, more like the movie and much better for still photography. I didn't use all of the many accessories provided, but for the most part I had the blades attached to his gauntlet on the right forearm and the open shield attached to his left forearm. His backpack, as I'm sure many of you already know, is magnetic and attaches nicely to his back. The figure comes with some small hooks for his belt so that his other weapons can be attached, but I didn't bother to use them. One really cool touch with the accessories is that his spear can be assembled from two separate sections, each of which can be used individually as a weapon. There isn't yet a model of Naru, the main protagonist from the film, so I tried to emulate the poster styles of the movie using a Neca Dutch figure that I had access to. Not sure why he'd be out in the snow in his jungle fatigues, he must be freezing, but he's a pretty tough guy. For these shots, I posed the figures together against a white backdrop and composited the forest and added the mist and snow in post. For the jungle shots, it was the previous rock and plant backdrop with in-camera lighting and smoke. On closer inspection, the detail on the Feral Predator is a little less impressive and it can look quite plastic, so I avoided very close-up shots. I also tried to blur the very rubbery-looking hair dreads to convey some motion, but for its size, it is a very good facsimile of the movie creature. I do wish there was more articulation at the feet and maybe even at the toes, as I did have some trouble getting it to stand up and balance for some of the poses. I also wish he had a set of open hands with fully outstretched fingers like the other Neca Predator figures, as this could give him much more expressive poses. But these are minor gripes. Overall, this is a very impressive model. I had a fun time shooting this and managed to create some nice posters for some fans. If you're a fan of Neca Predators or the film Prey, I would recommend this figure. Even if you're not a collector, it would still look great on a shelf. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.